Hello fans of Marvel Heroes, welcome to another episode on the Cosmic Gate. And in my previous guide, I talked about the encounter, how to do better in your time to live and so on in Cosmic Gate. And share also later on, there are some videos, share a little bit more tips on this so-called gate. And over time, I've tried quite a lot of heroes, and I've sort of like gain more experience in this whole Cosmic Gate. And in this video, I'd like to share with you how to diagnose your Cosmic Gate failure. If you have failed the Cosmic Gate, a lot of people ask me like, why do I fail this gate, and could you inspect my gear and so on. Then we always have this dialogue going on. Then by the way, I welcome that kind of like interaction. Don't worry about bothering me. I'm here to help, and I'm really happy to build friendship over this as well. So I thought maybe I share my thought process when it comes to diagnosing when you fail the Cosmic Gate, which I do as well. There are a couple of steps or phases you can go through. So this is what this video is about. Also, in my previous video, I have shared with you the 9 successes I have with the hero Ant-Man, Captain America, Colossus, Doctor Strange, Psylocke, Rocket Raccoon, Scarlet Witch, She-Hulk, and Thing, and also on the hero that I failed, Star-Lord. All right. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the rest of the heroes that I've tried, and those with success. I would like to share with you what kind of thing that I look out for that particular hero, and also those that I failed. So hero like Iron Man, X-23, Rogue, Invisible Woman, Black Widow, Winter Soldier, Loki, Thor, Doctor Doom, Gambit, Melee, Iceman, Hulk, Miss Marvel, as well as Wolverine. Those 2 that I failed are Hawkeye and Ghost Rider. So I'm going to share with you my experience on some of this, and feel free to stay on for part 2 of the video if you also having a little bit of difficulties on some of this hero that you face, and I have tips for you on which hero probably is your best chance to get through the Cosmic Gate. If you really can't get through a gate, trying 1 hero and 2 heroes and 3 heroes, so on. There are actually some heroes that are relatively easier to pass through the gate. All right. So without further ado, the first part of the video is about diagnosing your Cosmic Gate failure. Now, there are a couple of phases when it comes to figuring out what has gone wrong. So the good news is that for the hero that I've tried, those that I've named, called out so far, I would say majority of the hero can get through the gates by the hero design himself or herself. So when you can't get through the gate, there are a couple of questions that you need to ask yourself. The very first question is that is it because you are taking too long to complete the objectives, right? That is actually quite easy to diagnose. So what you need to do is go to this training dummy, and it is at the far end of the training room on the left side. So a lot of people ask which is the dummy, right? So in this scenario, you've got to face the boss and dump out your DPS. The boss will not attack you, but it is a test of time to kill. Now there are a couple of rules here. The first rule is that you have to maintain your spirit generation, especially when you're using basic lust build. I've got video on that as well. Because when you need the kind of DPS, you need the kind of like time to kill. You need to probably go basic lust, and you need to use med kit to recuperate the spirit. So the rule number 1 is that try out on this dummy, and then rule number 2 is that you cannot use ultimate. You can use signature, all sort of stuff that best you can. Equip your pets. Whatever team up you like to use it. That's fine. Time yourself and sort of like get a gauge of how long it takes. So sometimes when I talk to some of my friends, I'm not going to name who, of course, the time could be like 2 minutes or so. Now, the standard is around 1 minute. If you are taking much longer than 1 minute, it is very likely something that you need to think about on how to do it better. Now, if you see a big gap, that's good news, because you know where to improve. This is a very easy test. You go through a time to kill, and you realize that oops, my kill time is way more than a minute, maybe a minute and a half or 2 minutes. That is good news, because that is actually very easy to fix, right? So the first thing you need to think of, forget about, a lot of people ask like, okay, I'm having 2 minute kill time. Should I use this medallion versus that medallion? The answer is no, because medallion will only give you a slight kind of like maybe If you choose the right medallion, maybe you gain like a 3%, 5% kind of damage. But it will not improve your kill time by 50% or 100%, whatnot, right? So that is something that you need to bear in mind. The first problem that you have is probably about the build, because you're assuming that you have the full set of unique for your levels, even 63, all right? Doesn't really matter. Start with the 63 unique. Assuming that you have 4 blessing and a proper legendary. Now, if you have all this makeup and you still takes about 1 minute and a half to 2 minutes to down this raid dummy, it is about your build. It is about your rotation. I've got a lot of video. You can check out the web link at the description of this video. There are a lot of builds that I've created and put into the website and YouTube as well. And majority of them I tested out. I can pass a gate with that. So something for you to think about on those builds. So build is easy to fix. Get a nice build. Get an easy to execute build, and you can try again on Cosmic Gate and see where are the gaps. So that is phase 1, which is the easy part of it. Get nice gear. Forget about Omega Point. I mean, even 7,500 Omega Point will not close a gap of 2 minutes into 1 minute. It will not. It is not a magic bullet. Omega Point is great to sort of like further enhance your improvement at the cut tier that is acceptable, which is around 1 minute-ish or less than 1.5 kind of thing. If you go beyond that, you have to fix your build. You have to probably go basicness. You have to find some extra way to gain the extra mile. But that's good news, because those benefit you as a hero. Even if you pass a gate, if you're having a kill time of 2 minutes, you probably will not enjoy as much as on other content like Cosmic Terminal and so on, when you have to solo the content. So this is a good opportunity for you to improve your time to kill. All right, just take it positively that way. So that's phase 1 of the whole diagnosis approach. So assuming that your time to kill is you brought it down to close to 1 minute or even less than 1 minute. So now you try the gates again. It failed. So there are multiple kind of like ways that things could fail here, but now it's narrowing down to a certain area that you need to look at. So there are only two areas basically. One is that, do you have some crowd control utility on your hotbar or anywhere in your build that cater for this sort of difficult situation whereby you need to interrupt the boss, you need to interrupt the mobs, elite mobs, and so on. So sometimes I know a lot of guides out there. Now, if you watch my guide, usually I have quite a few crowd control kind of thing on my hotbar to make sure that I can do the interruption. But those are not counting as DPS. I know people go mad about time to kill, and they post kill time and so on and so forth. But usually you ask yourself, at what expense, right? For example, you may have a build 1 point into maximum health, but then maybe that little bit of health and you max that rank, make you last the gate, because the gate is very punishing, right? So the phase 2 is about diagnosing yourself and find out how to improve on your time to leave. Now, my video on the guide on Cosmic Gate, I talk about that. So do refer to that to give you some inspiration on what are the area that you could to help you to close the gap and at least get your time to leave to be a little bit higher or substantially higher depending on what you want to do, right? So now, if in the event whereby you can't pass the gate, even your kill time and your time to leave is good, like even in my case, I have cases like that, right? Then you have to come across the situation whereby, what make you fail? Because it comes to a point whereby it's something like this, right? When you play a strong hero, you already immediately know that when you go in and you start the encounter, there's a high chance you succeed. And majority of my hero first time will go in and it's done, right? Because my gear anyway. There are instances whereby I could have taken a bit of risk on some area, just want to hurry up a little bit, and then I make a mistake whereby I got hit twice and then game over, right? So that's fine, because I know what defeated me and I know how to do better in the next encounter. So that is the good news, right? So now the not too good news is somewhere in between, which is like, I have got some opportunity whereby I know, I can feel I'm very close, but not quite there, right? So for example, give you an example, right? Sometimes some team up may have some signature that help to crowd control a little bit, and if the signature card lands on the right time or taunts at the right time, that's fine. Or sometimes when the Hulkbuster all group in the same area for you to do area damage, and you manage to kill them all, right? So that is something like very situational, right? Because it's not a consistent kind of like performance. You can tell as you test, it's not consistent. Sometimes you do better, sometimes you do worse. That is an indication of an area of problem here, right? Because and then with the time to live that I talk about phase 2, the phase 2 of this diagnosis, you could actually ride that out, because sometimes there's some artifact that will spawn an invulnerability shield, and then you can get into it and after shield yourself, and then suddenly then the Hulkbuster hit you, and you manage to shield some of this away, and then you manage to extend that battle for a little bit further. So this is what I meant by it's not consistent. It's not something you could rely on and replicate it. But if you are in this zone whereby somehow you can do it, right? So phase 2, extended a little bit of time to live, and then also examine where the problem area is it some kind of interrupt and so on. That is the diagnosis going on. Now, in the event whereby you have done it all, you've done a good time to live, you've done a good time to kill, but because you realize that things are inconsistent, and things are inconsistent, then okay, so what can you do? So come to the stage 3, the diagnosis is that what will make you win this is just a matter of a core, right? So if you get a core with 25% health recuperation, because you need the kind of like health recuperation on the costume, and then if you get a core that gives you the invulnerability shield, right? And it doesn't matter whether it's invulnerability or not, because even if you can go invisible for 3 seconds, it's good enough. Either way is fine. Whether you are invulnerable and invisible, the advantage of invulnerable is that all the mobs still stay at where they are. The disadvantage of invisible is that the moment you use a core, everybody move away, right? So that is the only thing you need to deal with. But either way, if you are finding yourself having inconsistent result, the core is your answer. Now, then you ask yourself, how do I get this core, right? So actually farming core is not as hard, so long as you have one hero go through a gate. It's a catch-22, right? So if you can't get through a gate, you can't get those core. But there are heroes, I'll tell you later, there are some heroes as of today that are relatively easier to get through a gate. If you go through this, if you get those heroes, gear them well, and then get through a gate, and then you can farm something called the Reliquary of Rarity, the little orange boxes, and store them up. Don't open with your current hero. You can actually switch to another hero, open them up, and inside will be the insignia as well as a core that is suitable for the hero that you want to get through a gate with. So stage 3 of this diagnosis is to get a core to help you become consistent, right? So that is good news. Now, stage 4 is like this. Even if you get a core of like invulnerable or invisible, whatnot, you still fail. That come to only one probable explanation. All right, it's probable. It could be anything, right? It could be skill, or it could be latency, or it could be anything. But one plausible explanation is that the hero design is not good for the gate. The hero could be good. Like for instance, I'll give you an example, right? Hawkeye. Hawkeye has a streaking arrow. So if you go to Cosmic Patrol, it's really no problem. Hawkeye can always land a streaking arrow. All the normal mob will be on that arrow. And then, with all the team up and whatnot going around, the bot, even if you want Solo Man Ape or Moment or Black Cat or any other solo heroes in Cosmic Patrol, it's quite an easy task. But the gate set up such a way that they ignore all this factor and sort of like target on the hero more often, right? So if that's the case, that is a hero design failure, because that means that the hero is not designed well for the gate to pass the gate. So no matter what you do, right, you can build a time to kill, time to leave, have a nice core, and you still can't get through a gate. Of course, I would get frustrated, but I'm at peace with this whole thing, because I would then shelve the hero, meaning that I can't take this hero to endgame. It's not the end of the world. There are other heroes. And if you don't like other heroes, there are other games as well. So don't get too frustrated, because I know a lot of people, I myself get a little bit of hyper pressure when I just can't get it. So I limit myself to 5 tries, right? If I I tried 5 times, things still not working out fine. There's no reason for me to keep banging my head on the wall, because insanity is something that you keep doing, expecting the different results, right? So forget it, shelve the hero, and the good news is that you can unbind all the artifact, you can recover all the blessing, you can convert your grade 70 legendary to OD mark. So my suggestion to you is that don't use a grade 80 legendary until you pass a gate. If you can't pass a gate with a grade 70 legendary, very likely you can't pass a gate with a grade 80. All right, so invest, yes you may, on something that you get full refund. Grade 80 legendary, you can't get a full refund. Also, another good news is that doing story mode, Bullseye will give you 3 matrix of unbinding. So you can unbind things like the team insignia, medallion as well. So just get recover all the resources and shelve the hero for now, right? Until somehow, couple months or a couple of years down the road, Gazillion do something to it. If it happens to be your favorite hero, I still advise you not to keep banging your head onto it, because it can be really, really frustrating. We play a game to enjoy it, relax, right? If you manage to get some hero to end game, right, you are not like, you can't think about yourself as a bad player. A lot of people in the forum, the elitists, will say, oh yeah, you are bad, you can't pass through, The game is weeding you out. But guess what? This gate is weeding the hero that are poorly designed for the gate out, right? So just think about it that way. Don't get frustrated. Don't get angry. Don't listen to all these negativities. Stay positive. Eventually, you will find one hero that can get through the gate, all right? So that is part 1 of the video. And part 2, I'm going to share with you some success story of these 14 heroes that I've gone through. And, my apologies if this is going to be a little bit long, because because some people ask me, oh yeah, can you do an Iron Man, can you do a Gambit, can you do a this and that? So I thought I'd do them all. I can't really capture all these 6-minute video and put them on the website. It could be like more than an hour kind of thing. So I just talk you through some of these things that watch out for, all right? And all these heroes that I'm going to talk about, I have video for individual guys just to help you through. All right, so Iron Man. I use a melee Iron Man. A lot of people think that he can't get through. Now, I don't know how range Iron Man works like. So a lot of people ask me, can you try range and see whether I can get through a gate or not? But the answer is that my Iron Man is very much a melee one, and I passionately play this Iron Man as a melee one. So, I went through a gate for Iron Man as a melee. You know that I'm a melee kind of build. Melee build. And the build is this, but you can take a look at my my guide on how to play the Iron Man or melee mode. And very much the death from above is a very, very good ability to kind of stun kind of thing. And then the good thing about one off is the burst kind of damage. So together with the stun, and you lay all this thing on top, and one of the Hulkbuster tend to get burned quite fast. But you still need to kite a little bit out and then come back in again. But the good news is that this is only a 4-second cooldown. But of course, not every time you can stun, because I think they have an immunity of 10 or 12 seconds. But every now and then you can stun. And also I pick up a tip from one of you who shared with this community that Deadpool team up is actually quite good. And actually I agree. Deadpool team up is really good because it has something called server lag. And it's very nice, but it's just that you can't control when the lag happens, and sometimes it just happens on just one single mob and it's dying. But anyway, I'm not complaining about Deadpool. I think it's quite reliable as a team up. But that's not the only team up with these sort of things. There are team up that has taunt skill as well, other things as well. But I think the taunt is nerfed a little bit, so I do not know. All right. So, but I do see better result with Deadpool, but Deadpool is not a magic bullet, meaning that I do have some heroes that are unable to get through a gate, whether I'm using Deadpool or not. So, yeah. So back to Iron Man, just melee is fine, but I would advise you to get at least like invulnerable or invisible core together with 25. I prefer health, and I also use a Juggernaut medallion as well. But it's very steady. There wasn't any like scary moment except the Hulkbuster. I need to kite a little bit. But other than that, the rest of the encounter was pretty alright. So yeah, I mean that is Iron Man. The next one I'm going to talk about is X23. X23, you see my video previously on X23. X23 is actually quite hard when it comes to Cosmic Patrol because yeah, I mean the thing about X23 is that it doesn't really have a lot of area damage, I would say, and also it doesn't really have the kind of burst that I need when I need to. So again, I'm relying on the invulnerable core, and it helps a lot. I don't think I'll pass X23 without this core. All right. So something that I mean, I pass it, but it's quite close. It's one of the harder one for me. And guess what? I'm really passionate about X23. It would have broken my heart if I'm unable to. And I'm using a movement build. It's also one of the in my website in the YouTube. I have a guide on that, and it's very much a movement build. The great thing about movement build is that in this kind of scenario, you need to keep jumping around, and it helps when you jump around. You don't take that many bullets from Madame Hydra, and then whenever a signature broke, so you need to sort of like time your dancing blade, the signature, a fair bit, because it cut through the mobs and so on. So you must know when to do your signature and when to not. All right. So that is all I want to talk about X23 movement build, and just spread the damage over time. All right. When it comes to Rogue, I was actually very conscious because unlike the rest of the hero, my Rogue doesn't have a health costume. Okay, she does have a health costume, but she doesn't really have any core in it. So I was thinking, sorry, she doesn't have a health costume. I do have another costume to roll if I need to. So I'm thinking maybe I should try, because using this kind of costume sometimes it's very scary in the cosmic trial, and I'm only about 20k. Kind of like so I was a little bit conscious going in, but it also went through quite all right. I mean, I went through okay. The secret of this build, I mean, for those who probably watched the Rogue video knows that I'm not a melee Rogue. I know melee does more DPS. I'm not a melee Rogue, but I'm a range mode Rogue. And the great thing about this whole thing is that I have a lot of area damage. Basically, everything I have is very much like area to it, area. So area does really well in Cosmic Patrol, and she has this like signature that not many people like, but it kind of like mitigate quite a few things when you use this kind of like recall overload. So this is very nice. And then the Raging Cajun, I hope I get it right this time. Does the damage kind of buff like 10%? No, sorry, 33% of time. It does the kind of like passive kind of damage over time on all the mobs that you hit. So that is also very nice. But the key to success is actually her invisibility, because she can go invisible, steal the power from Invisible Woman, and she can go invisible for 3 seconds every 10 seconds, and that's good enough because. If you time it well, all right, that is going to help you quite a fair bit, because you can actually stop all the bullet coming in and by just go invisible, and Madam Hydra is going to walk around somewhere, and so that is very, very useful. So I credit the success of this build to a couple of things: the invisibility, Raging Cajun, and also all the area that I have on this one. And I'm having a hybrid build as well. So this is the build I have. All right, and and do check out the video on that one. So I hope. Man, I'm so worried when it comes to Rogue and X23. I was like, it will break my heart if I can't get through. So I'm very happy. So that is Rogue. Now, then after that, I said, okay, so if Rogue went through, then what about Invisible Woman? Now, if you can't pass the gate, all right. Now, I don't know whether they will nerf this or not. I really hope not, because they have already nerfed all the summoners that because the beauty of having a summoner is having pets to take the damage, while summoner take a back seat and deal damage from afar, send instructions, so on. They change the Cosmic Gate such a way that they will ignore mostly the team up and the pets as well. So it becomes very hard for a summoner. So what about Invisible Woman? Now, if you watch my video on the Invisible Woman, my Invisible Woman is invisible 87% of the time at least. So what it means is that it's just a very nice walk in the park, because I hardly get any damage from anything at all when I use Invisible Woman. Now, I could have used a DPS gear actually. I mean, I'm using a health gear. So the problem with the health gear is that it's taking a bit too long to finish off all the mobs. So I was cutting a little bit close because I just lacking on DPS. Again, I mean, I wasn't that comfortable with Invisible Woman because I haven't been playing Invisible Woman for so long, and I just got a new mouse, the Epic Chroma, instead of the Naga. So I'm still trying to get used to all these buttons. So, you know, I take it on the safe side, use a health gear. But in fact, in retrospect, when I think about it, I probably can stay with the DPS gear, which is the crit damage rating. All right. So I'm not going to talk too much about this one here, but very much it is a very much like a stealth build. All right. Check out the website. Check out the YouTube. It's there. All right. So that is the Invisible Woman on the Cosmic Patrol. And after that, okay, so I was inspired. So it's like once you're on the road, right, so you get excited because once you see success, you say, oh yeah, man, maybe something is really working here. So then I look at Black Widow. Black Widow has her signature that will go invisible for 9 seconds out of 36 seconds. Now, it's not ideal because there's still a lot of things going on. But the good thing about Black Widow is that there's a stun going on. And then, you know, all these things are just like damage over time and so on. Now, and also when Black Widow moves, she go invisible. The only problem with Black Widow is the lack of area that is wide enough. So her damage is very much like a front cone kind of damage. You need to constantly move around position. It becomes very, very hard to kind of like get it. So it was taking me a while to get everything out, but then it was never quite a scary moment because she can always drop aggro and recuperate. And on top of that, I do have health gear for her as well. And I do have an invisible, on back here. And that's extremely useful because whenever, you know, when you go invisible, it's not stealth. Because stealth, the difference between stealth and invisible is that when you go stealth, the moment you hit a mob, you unstealth yourself. You become like visible. But when you become invisible, you can, at that 3 seconds, you can just keep hitting. And coupled with this cloaking device, actually Black Widow is pretty steady. Like I say, the only thing I'm not too happy about is the area that is very hard to get right. But once you get it, her signature is pretty nice as well. So yeah, so that is Black Widow. And then after that, I would like to talk about. So I was like, okay, so it works for Black Widow, then it must be working for Winter Soldier as well. So now, Winter Soldier is actually it was really tough for me. Okay, so Winter Soldier I got it through as well. So that is the cosmic version of it. And for Winter Soldier, I actually have quite a nice core. I have the invulnerable. When I use a med kit, I also have this crit damage rating. So his damage is not the problem. The problem again is the area. It's worse than Black Widow because at least Black Widow there's a kind of front cone. His one is quite a small kind of like area that you can't really see what happened. The kind of a terrifying thing, and the and that's the only one that you have on the area. Unlike Black Widow has quite a few of them, and he can go stealth as well. But you have to keep picking up one by one, and this can be really hard. The only thing about the cool is that it has a magnetic disc mine that can really suck everything together in one spot. Even the mag, I think it will move. So that is the only thing that is really good. And then of course there's a conceal as well. So during this, then you can conceal yourself for a couple of seconds as well. So it was never quite a scary moment for Winter Soldier, but just that the whole encounter may take a little bit long, and when that happened, I will start to get panicked because what if I can't finish the test, right? So that is Winter Soldier on the Cosmic Patrol. So the next one is on Loki. So a few of you asked me about what about your Loki. My Loki is a summoner. I think he has his unique being review. I'm not quite sure. I mean, you guys can let me know. I mean, I think you guys probably has better idea than I do when all these things. Sometimes I can't really follow up with all the patch notes and so on. As much as I would love to, I can't remember what they say. So Loki actually turns out to be really well as well. Surprising. I was utterly surprised. I've got a video on Loki Summoner. There's no change to it because only gear has changed. So they must have buffed Loki to be quite strong. And interestingly, although summoners are sort of like being nerfed in the sense that it made difficult, but in a very strange way, I don't know whether it's bug or not. In a very strange way, when I use summoner for Loki, I don't really get hit that often, unlike say Rocket Raccoon. So the experience is very strange because it's as though the boss is never quite on me, the Loki. All right, so So the whole thing is quite easy as well. I went through quite fairly easily through it. The only thing hard is his ultimate is not that great because as he go ultimate, he become a Frost Giant. But then he can do a bit of like area and whatnot and so on. But he will continue to take damage. I can't move out from the dead zone because there's no dash curve. Like I have to click on walk like this and sort of like reorient. I mean, I've been asking Gazillion to give us like a dash or sprint, but they never listen on this one. So, or at least a leap, whatnot, right? Force Giant or charge. I don't know. But there isn't anything. So he could take quite a fair bit of damage. At one point during the Red Skull ultimate, I thought he would die there because the thing went so low. But yeah, I mean, just watch out for it. I have a core as well on the 25. I don't have invulnerable or invisible core, so it's pure, it is what you see. All right, so, but, it went through fairly easily. So I was very comfortable with Invisible Woman, and I was also very comfortable with the Loki. So yeah, that may help you to decide which one to bring into a gate. Maybe some tips there. I hope the Gazillion are not watching this one. Please don't share with them, and then they will nerf them, accordingly. So that was on Loki. All right, and after that, let's go Thor. Now, I've made a video very earlier on Thor and saying that how awesome he is. But I do have requests saying that, but my Thor can't get through the gate. So I have a mixed story here. My Thor actually managed to get through the gate, and he doesn't have he has the health, health on hit, which is kind of useful, but it doesn't. I mean, if you have invulnerable core, probably is better, I would say. But he does manage to recuperate health quite fast. So that's the only thing about my Thor. And you've seen the video earlier on my Thor, and you probably would agree that he's quite a beast. And there's not much thing to talk about Thor because I'm just mashing on the button. Even with but at the Hulkbuster, I will get a little bit further to use my anti-force and so on, and hope that I can hit them because they can be quite punishing for Thor. But other than that, it doesn't seem to be a lot of scary moment for Thor. It's just very steady. When you hold a strong hero, when you start the encounter, right? You know that he can pass already. I mean, within a couple of encounter, that so Thor belongs to that category of pretty strong, but you do require a fair bit of gearing and practice in order to get this to work, because you do need to kite around a little bit. You do need to spread the thing damage over time a little bit as well. The area damage a little bit. So just pay attention to that, and you should be fine. All right. So the next one. So that was on Thor. Excuse me. I need to have some tea. And people ask me, what kind of tea you drink? So my wife and I went to Australia, and we bought this Madam flavor, and it's really nice tea. The Australians are really lucky with all this nice tea. Really like it. Dr. Doom. So Dr. Doom is also one of my favorite characters. I say, oh my god, if I can't pass, because mine is not summoner, right? So a lot of my friends who went through a gate are summoner. So you must have watched my video you may have watched my video on try build with no specialization on Dr. Doom. I don't know whether I should say this or not, because I don't really want my Doom to be nerfed by Gazillion. But anyhow, I'll just say it. So if you watch that video on how fast I killed all the caustic bosses with my two signature, right? The Mystical Master and also the Technical Tyrant, I can tell you, Hulkbuster melt in seconds with Dr. Doom. Basically, just these two combined together, within a couple of seconds, they are just melt, gone. The whole entire Hulkbuster is gone, destroyed. So that's how strong a try-build, no specialization is. So I'm very happy with the result. My Doom doesn't have invulnerable, whatnot. So it can get a little bit scary if you make mistake. So if you make mistake, get hit by Red Skull a few times, the Sentinel hit. So there are moments that I need to kite around a little bit. But other than that, you have it in the bag, right? You know that you just have to stay cool, execute your move, spread all the damage over time. He is very nice. Everything of my power are damaged area. So if you watch my video, you know that my entire Doom build is just area with two signature, and it's doing a fantastic job in melting anything that I need to disintegrate. So Doom is nice, but you do need to gear for it, and you do need to have quite a lot of event items to gear for it. So I do not want to recommend Doctor Doom as one to pass through. Okay, I still think that Invisible Woman, even Loki, is pretty nice. So that is Doctor Doom on the Cosmic Patrol. And then after that, let's talk about Gambit. So a lot of people say that have some difficulty with Gambit. Now again, my Gambit is not one of those like popular build, because a lot of people play Gambit as ranged, right? I mean, I think almost all the people I talk to are playing Gambit as range. I do not know how range plays like. I do not know how range can survive the Cosmic Trial. Mine is a melee build, and again, it's in the YouTube. Mine is a melee build, and the beauty about this melee build is that you get to really jump around, and just spread the thing, and then jump around, spread the house of card, and then jump around, and so on. And then after that, you can have your raging Cajun to do the damage over time. Now, the beauty of jumping around like this is more than just cosmetic or whatnot. I mean, it does do damage, by the way. And also, with this, I can actually dodge Madam Hydra's bullet quite well. Surprisingly, I don't know how. And then also, I can just leave my house of cards, because the mobs tend to be quite stationary. If you notice the mag or even the Hullbuster, sometimes if you don't get too far, they're actually quite stationary. It can actually jump in, leave the house of cards, and then after they jump out. And Meta Hydra doesn't move at all. It keep eating the house of cards. It's wonderful. And for melee build, house of cards is beautiful because it just spawn where it is. So like I say, I mean, my Gambit doesn't have a invulnerability shield. Doesn't have anything. And surprisingly, is one of the heroes that is quite comfortable, just jumping around, and of course sometimes I need to do a bow beat down, and there are moments that I can really do it, especially when that pulls team up kind of like server lag comes on board. I can just bow beat down, but other than that, you just keep jumping around, but just be careful about 52 pickup, because 52 pickup is not a total damage mitigation. When the Hullbuster comes, and you may get destroyed by the Hullbuster and the Madam Hydra as well. So just pick your fight, know when to use 52 pickup. That's my only advice to you. But other than that, melee Gambit is okay. All right. So now, Iceman. So I know, a lot of people follow my Iceman and the Summoner build. So I was a little bit concerned. What if my Iceman can't get through, because I only have one costume for my Iceman, and that's all. Not even a shield, and he has only about 20k damage. But as it turned out, Iceman is also another one that's pretty okay because of my ice block. I don't know how many of you do that, right? My ice block is maxed out somewhere here. So it recuperates a lot of health, and it recuperates a lot of spirit. And it's wonderful, because as soon as I get hit once, twice, I don't hesitate and use ice block, all right? And his signature is also, is invulnerable as well. And Iceman is still doing quite high damage, I would say, even with all this so-called tuning and so on. A lot of people like, oh no, Iceman is nerfed. I said, no, it seems pretty strong to me, all right? So Iceman is another one that I would say, yeah, I mean, can get through fairly easily without too much drama and so on. Just ice block your way and just do the signature all your way, and just keep spraying this guy. So this guy is very nice. Ice stick, you just like keep spraying to various different kind of like mobs, and you just beam them away. And if you get attacked, you try to run away. If you really can't, ice block yourself. Signature come, go in, and signature, work of art. What more should I say? Right, Iceman is nice. So Iceman is yet another one that's quite easy to go through. And after that, Hulk. Now, so I heard a lot of comments on Hulk saying that he's like paper. Okay, so I don't know how to say about this. I mean, my Hulk isn't like paper, but then it's unfair. I show you my core, and you'll know why it's unfair when I say that. No, I have this core, which is fairly good, right? Because it can go invisible, it can regenerate, and sort of like invulnerable as well. But of course, invulnerable and invisible kind of like cancel out each other, right? Because you just need one of two. You don't need two of them together. But I just happen to have this one and just use it, right? So I don't really have a lot of problem with Hulk. I think the success is also because of the I use the definite raw quite often, because a lot of people don't put some of this on the toolbar, because all these are very, like this 3 power has really a long cooldown, but then if you put it off the hotkey, you can't really see what happens. So I have all these things, and you have to time the thunderous hand clap as well, and then when to do a meteor strike, and then you have to do back-to-back cooldown reset, because this one reset cooldown of this 2. So usually what I do is that I'll use this one, I'll use this 2, burn this 2, and I'll use this one and then do this one again. So Hulk has quite a nice burst damage, and if you time your raw right, you will actually do like a quite nice stun. Now I will publish a video on Hulk later. He is also on my to-do list in terms of making guide. I will do it for you guys. So I was just hoping that I can pass the test first, then I do it. Then I was thinking, if I can't pass the test, what's going to happen? I don't know. Will you guys still want to see my guide if I can't pass the test? I don't know, man. It's a lot of pressure there. A lot of pressure. So yeah, that's Hulk. And then after that, 2 more to come, hang in there. And so Hulk also went through. Hulk went through here, all right? So after that is Miss Marvel. Now, Miss Marvel has gone through her unit review, and she's marvelous. She's basically, that she's going to nail it. I mean, quite comfortably. Now, I was very comfortable as well because I have this core. Again, invulnerable, it helps. But then even so, I mean, I feel very comfortable when I play Miss Marvel. Sometimes I don't even need to pop the med kit at all. So I use very little med kit when it comes to Miss Marvel. So I would imagine that it will work for you as well. I just got another video, updated video on Miss Marvel, how to build her and so on. So yeah, I mean, definitely a hero that I really enjoy. And there's nothing really much to talk about Miss Marvel. You just have to forget about the infused regeneration. It consumes your energy. So you just need to make sure all these rotations are nice. Now, the only thing you need to watch out for is spreading your damage around, because she's not exactly an area damage kind of thing, hero. So you need to watch out and spread your damage across the area. But that's the only thing I can think of. And when the Hulkbuster comes, you have to crash in, and you save all these things for Hulkbuster, and after that you just have to dash out and then jump back in again, and then do all these things going on. So she after the tuning, she's actually pretty well. She's one of the recent hero we have. So yeah, I mean, really enjoy Miss Marvel. Really happy that she can got through as well, because she is my first hero ever in this game, and I would be very heartbroken again if she couldn't get through. Okay, lastly, Wolverine. He actually does a lot better than X-23. Both has invulnerable core, because in Cosmic Patrol, he's actually quite fragile without it, and I feel that he's even more fragile than X-23, because X-23 is keep moving. He's not that mobile, but what make up for it is his so-called is his damage, because his damage is insane. I mean, his damage is really good. And I remember use the Berserker's Warpath when you want to play Patrol Environment, because you need the kind of defense rating to be up at that tier to mitigate damage. Dodge, the Chunda no Kame, that one is more for cosmic terminal farming. Don't use this one. Dodge is useless. Don't use dodge. It doesn't help you with the spike. It's the spike that killed you. So I always say that, public announcement. All right. So for Wolverine, just make sure you spread all the damage over time across, and impel on the target that matter, and like Santino or whatnot. So Wolverine is fine. No problem with Wolverine. So lastly, just talk about 2 more heroes here, the Hawkeye and Ghost Rider. The problem with Hawkeye is I'm unable to taunt, because part of my build, or part of any Hawkeye build, is to be able to taunt the target and then deal damage. My Hawkeye is a glass cannon like Star-Lord, that can do, I think even higher than Star-Lord. I mean, much higher. My Hawkeye is actually, as high as Wolverine, in terms of the, as a range that's remarkable. But the problem is I can't survive because when the Hulkbuster come onto me without the taunt, the team can't do anything, and it's just dead. Even with that pull. But if you can get through, congratulations. Just I can't, so I'm going to shelve Hawkeye. Another one is Ghost Rider. The problem with Ghost Rider is just not enough DPS. Now, why is it not enough DPS? I could use Contract to reduce my health and then do higher DPS. But the problem is that when the heat is so high, I can even get killed by all these things going on. So it becomes very risky. And sometimes when you take risks, and you may just fail. And and it just, I don't want to keep trying, you know, because I know if I keep trying, I will get through for Ghost Rider. I know that I just need to keep my 3 buff on and I'll be fine. At least I can do more damage, but I just don't feel like getting frustrated playing this game, right? I play this game to enjoy, have fun, build friendship, you know, and you know, go for raiding or outro and whatnot. So that is just my philosophy. So I hope this video is useful. I apologize if it's getting a little bit too long, but I just would like to passionately share with you how some of this success you know, story is, and how it may get around to help you as well. So do let me know how you feel about all this Cosmic Patrol. I'm hearing more and more success stories, so just hang in there. This game is wonderful. Keep playing, and you may find a hero whereby you'll get through a gate. You just need one hero get through a gate, and you can farm the cores, and then more hero will get through a gate. Alright, so till the next time we see each other, goodbye.